Today is World Press Freedom Day. As a matter of fact, this is the 30th anniversary of the Declaration. It took place in 1991 in Windhoek, Namibia, where the need for an independent and pluralistic media was reached, particularly for Africa. And that inspired the UNESCO and the UN General Assembly to adopt today as World Press Freedom Day. So I have with me here to discuss the journey so far for us in Nigeria and our experiences here at The Guardian. I have with me to my left Mr. Kabir Alabi Garba, the editor of The Guardian on Sunday.
Thank you.
And to my right here, I have Gregory Owakuno. He is the arts editor of The Guardian. My name is Alabi Williams, editor of The Guardian Daily. Thank you, gentlemen. So as I've introduced, today is World Press Freedom Day.
Yeah.
And for us in the media, it means a lot to us. So the journey so far, how have we come?
Yeah, the journey so far, so interesting. We can say that it has been good, bad, and ugly in the sense that we have different story, different narrative to explain the journey so far, especially as it concerns Nigeria. For instance, the declaration came in 1991, and then with what we can call 3-point agenda, looking at the free press, pluralistic press, as well as the independent press. And then thereafter, especially in Nigeria, 1992 came the regulation of broadcasting, which in a way give birth to what we call today as a poorer platform for people to express themselves. You know, before 1992, there was only government-owned broadcast station. There was nothing like a private radio. Private ownership was not allowed. But it may not be connected to Windhoek Declaration, but as a matter of fact, when you are talking about pluralism, you want that there will be choices. People have choice of a platform to express their view, their opinion. But before then, there was nothing like that. If you are not a supporter of government, you may not have. And then we can link this one to even what occurred in 1959 that led to the establishment of the first television in Africa. You know, Awolowo was denied access to government platform, and then that will now encourage him to ensure that something that will represent something in the Western Nigeria was created for him to address his people. In the same vein, from that era, we have been witnessing, though people will believe that up to now Nigeria has the freest media in Africa, but that kind of debate is still on whether it's true or not. But most essentially, we have Nigeria has witnessed the influence of that declaration in terms of maybe free media, pluralistic media, and as well as independent media. Yes. But as we know, all these three concepts are not absolute. You can't have absolute freedom. You can't have absolute pluralism, and you can't have absolute independence.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gregory, you know, in 30 years, you know, how inclusive will you say the Nigerian media has been? How inclusive? You know, he talked about, you know, having multiple platforms. Now, yes, we still have some voices that are not heard. You know, so how inclusive will you say the media is so far?
So far, so good. It's been the kind of arrangement or narrative that has given more freedom. Yeah. The platform has, like you pointed out, has been pluralistic enough it has been pluralistic enough, and it has provided more people opportunity. Like the recent events that we are witnessing, the upsurge of social media, it has given more people opportunity to have them. That's what we refer to as a citizen press has been given opportunity to thrive in the country.
Thank you. The theme for this year's celebration is information as a public good. Information as a public good, meaning, a well-informed society, a society that knows what government is doing and is able to interrogate and hold government accountable. Yes, information as a public good. Will you say that we have been able to put it to use, in a manner that the public out there benefits? Information as a public good, yeah.
Yeah, when we talk about information as a public good, we are saying that we have an informed, because we know that information is power. If you have information about a particular, you'll be able to take informed decision. But we can discuss this under the environment where we operate as a media operative who gather, process, and disseminate information. That's one part. And as a society generally, who are exposed to what is happening in government. I think the thing is linked. We are now, this is democracy, and then democracy has to do with participation, inclusiveness, as editor said, inclusiveness, participation, and then trying to see what is there for people, the welfare of people. Therefore, what we are saying in essence is that we need to re-engineer our information system in such a way that the society is empowered. It will bring along the concept of accountability, and that we have a responsible and responsive government that listens to the agitation of people and then respond immediately. Certainly, the government cannot exist alone. Both the government and govern. That's how the system become so vibrant. But in essence, in Nigeria, we can say that because of the mechanism that we have put in place, for instance, now we have Freedom of Information Act to ensure that there is a public access, that's access to public record and information. To that extent, we are working towards it, but we have not gotten there yet. But the process is on. But we need to ask ourselves. Yes, as we are celebrating 30 years of Windhoek celebration, we're celebrating 10 years of FOI. And then we need equally to link because coincidentally, all of these things happens in the month of May. It was in May 2011 that the act, the bill was passed. Therefore, as we are celebrating 30 years of freedom of the press, more freedom, access to information channels by everybody in the society, we equally need to see how accessible are those record information in the custodian of public officers.
Great. I want to ask Mr. Gregory, the FOI Act, has been in place. Have you experienced challenges, trying to access information, public information, for you to process for the good of all, as a practitioner?
I have not.
You've not tried it.
But the truth of the matter is that very many Nigerian media practitioners have not done that either. The only thing that we know is that for the general populace, there is an act to that effect, but people are not making use of it. That's just the problem that we have in the society.
Yeah,
a lot of people
practitioners are not making use of
effective
it.
use of it. They are
Okay,
not
so it's a challenge.
It's a challenge, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now, central to this declaration is the safety of journalists, safety of practitioners. And you will agree that the terrain is not, it's not an easy one, yes. From my experience of Dele Giwa, we've lost quite a number of people, while in active service. Yeah. So the question is, how safe are we as practitioners? How safe is the average journalist? And then issues of insurance, workplace insurance, and then real time, when you're out there in the field, how safe are you?
Certainly, safety of a journalist has been a matter of a public discourse for a very long time, especially at the level of UNESCO. At the time like this, during Windhoek celebration like this, the issue always come up. But in Nigeria, we know that our media ecosystem is not as safe as expected. We will, in terms of operation, there are a lot of laws there that constrain us, that affect our safety. Equally, even because the major issues in journalism is investigation, and then that's the pride of every serious journalist. You want to do investigation, but how safe are you when you are doing this? All those issues combine to say that the terrain is not smooth at all. But we will continue. That one should not be an excuse. We will continue to appeal to all the stakeholders, because even both internally and externally, within the system, we need, like you mentioned, insurance. We need it. Even the welfare package is part of safety, because journalists are family people. They have dependents. They have to take care of them. In most cases today, most of the news that we have yes, poorer media. We have platforms here and there, but how many of them are paying journalists as at when due? You hear of 6 month salary being held, 1 year, 3 years. All those issues are part of safety. Because those are the issues here. But we believe that because you can't journalism, we are not practicing in isolation. The economic generally is bad, and then it affects journalists as well. But the issue of safety is very important.
The times we're in, last year was tough, generally, and particularly for the media. We are still going through COVID. Yes.
Yeah.
So for the media, to discharge itself, as purveyor of information for public good, what creativity do we need to put in place to survive where we are?
Creativity? Again, it's more of reinventing the way we work.
Thank you.
Looking at other means. Other means could be alternative sources of income.
Okay.
So that, because when the income is guaranteed, definitely you get the best of your workers. So all we need this period is to reinvent and look for alternative sources, like the Guardian has done by becoming a group, and through the group you can see the Guardian not just going on print.
Yeah.
Recently the Imofe fee was prevalent. It's part of the Guardian. So you look for other ways to get your work done.
Going multimedia.
Yes, going multimedia. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. You've reported media, for many years. Yeah. And you've interacted with policy makers. Yeah. What should government do, to ameliorate the situation for the media. I'm saying this, we're not making a request. The media is supposed to be independent. We don't beg for funds. Even though the Constitution gives us a job to do, we don't get any budget at all. Yes, so all the same, we deserve maybe not palliatives, but how can the print media, for instance, get inputs that are sourced, with Forex? How can you get inputs and then survive?
The essence of government is to create enabling environment for all form of businesses, and then we should not forget that media is equally in business. Yeah. Although part of the issue within this public good, information as public good, that we should avoid commercialization as we should avoid commercialization. Commercialization of news. But in doing that, we equally need to be creative, like what Gadi has been doing. I remember at least we have gone into different projects. The issue of film, book publishing, doing a special project, trying to be creative because alongside public good is the issue of sustainability of the media, and then the fact that we are social institution giving social services. We equally in business because we have workers that we need to. Government should as much as possible to create enabling environment. For instance, now you mentioned the newsprint is the major raw material. Yeah. We should be able to source this, and then effort was made in early 2000 with Okubokul newsprint that in Akwa Ibom. But all those companies are moribund now.
I think it is right. It is high time that we had our
newsprints manufactured locally.
Yes,
it's very important.
But they should be operated. We sold them.
Yes, we have to revive them. We have to create. For instance, now there is a local content. Recently, I'm talking about the local content in everything. All these things are here. We should. For instance, now even is appalling. We are producer of oil, but we are still importing finished products. It's part of the problem. We should be able to concentrate on how to source our raw material locally, so that one will save our forex.
Yeah. And aside from that, we should also have tax relief. Tax relief is very, very necessary.
And then relief and then essentially now that we could not produce our newsprint locally, there has to be a kind of incentive for us, because we are doing mass education. We are doing social services. When we import, there has to be a kind of concession, because there are some item that CBN is mandated to give to allow them to get forex. Forex is so difficult to get nowadays, but since we are equally doing social services, if we want to procure our newsprint, which is an essential raw material for us.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the social media. Information as a public good. We've never got it this good, perhaps. With everybody being a journalist, from your home, you can disseminate. Yes. The question is, we harvest a lot of fake news all over the place, and most times what is sent out is not for public good. It's not good. So how do we manage social media, so that we can enjoy information as a public good?
I think it's more about reorientation again. the kind of social media that much as we see a lot pass good information, good messages, pass good information, message, entertain with what they report. But the truth of the matter, to avoid the issue of these fake news populating, being the dominant narrative, is for more of constant training.
Constant training.
Yes, there is need for constant training, because when somebody is trained or taught to know, the person is able to apply the information like about. For most of them practicing now as citizen journal, you discover very many of them don't have information about what they are doing. You just see them maybe because
they are not trained.
They are not trained, because maybe somebody is working and he sees something, say, this thing, two soldiers fighting. Think, let me say this one. It may not always be right sending that kind of thing, because you are telling a wrong or passing a wrong signal, passing a wrong message.
So does that justify media law, to restrict?
No, I think we should start with, like I said, training. We need to, this new concept, conflict-sensitive journalism, is very important. And then we, the mainstream media, we equally need to own that platform. Because, we are governed by ethics, the mainstream media. Despite the fact that we have internet, we have social media, you can't just dab into practicing medicine. And then today we have telemedicine as well. You'll be a quack. Why can't we equally apply the same logic to journalism? Journalism is so sensitive to be left in the hand of quacks. But in journalism generally, we have two types of regulation, and then the choice is ours. We have self-regulatory framework, and then we have, and that is the essence. That's the key of social responsibility theory. That you should accept that you have a responsibility to society, to your immediate environment, your operating environment, and that is why we have all this code of practice. We should endeavor to adhere to it. But when that one fails, certainly, because another theory, that is the media development theory, now say that if the person cannot regulate themselves, that somebody should come in, and then in most cases it's government, which nobody would like that.
Go well for practitioners and for us as mainstream practitioners, we act with responsibility, because we have office address.
Yes, we have integrity.
We have physical presence. And so we cannot just do whatever we like. We cannot do hit and run.
No
journalism.
It's not possible.
Thank you for coming. All the issues are well taken. Your point on training, especially for the social media, well noted. And then the advice to government to, find a way to make things easier for the media, particularly the mainstream media, well taken note of. So, Mr. Kabiru Alabi Garba, I thank you, for coming. And Mr. Gregory Nwakuno, I thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Alabi Williams, editor of The Guardian. Bye for now.